It's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family and explorers of consciousness. I am the void one.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting from New York, upstate, near the Great Lakes, it's Lighting the Void, and I'm your host, Joe Roop. We're live on Fringe.fm. That is Fringe.fm. It's March the 18th, Thursday the 18th on into the 19th. It's midnight here on the East Coast, and we're live as always. Well, I would say most of the time, 90% of the time, we're live here right here on KTLK Digital Broadcasting. Also want to welcome KFSA News Talk to the broadcast. And tonight we're going to have back the wandering witch, Naviae Allora Is here with us. And we're going to catch up on all the stuff that she's been up to. If you want to support this show, you can go to lightingthevoid.com. I want to thank Emily for signing up to, also Emily and Hope for signing up to the Patreon and for upgrading. One of them upgraded too. So we've got like 50 patrons and counting. So I got to get in there and get y'all some new stuff, man. Like I am really like on a next level thing. I'm almost to my 39th birthday and there's some big kind of changes stuff happening. I would say, well, not just for the station, but kind of in my life too. And I've got to get all kind of squared up here. Thanks to Rohan, Pacho, everybody that's helped out, Amanda, Barbara, Mary, like everybody that's really been like saints to this whole thing. Night Stalker, all of the patrons, all you guys. So I'm kind of going through one of those midlife things, I think. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But the website for reference, because we're going to jump right into this tonight, is A Wandering Witch. I always say that wrong, don't I? Did I say that wrong, Naviae? I hope I'm not saying that wrong. A Wandering Witch?
A Wandering Witch.
Wandering.
WANDER. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because your accent's so awesome, Joe.
That's what it is, right? I guess so. But yeah, like it's crazy. How you been? How have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been good. I can't complain. I feel pretty fortunate to be kind of tucked away in the jungle in Hawaii in this kind of strange moment in history. Yeah, but I feel good. I feel like I'm having profound experiences and a lot of synchronicity, and yeah, I'm good. I really feel excited about springing right now.
Springing.
It's been raining a lot. Yeah, it's been raining a lot here. So I feel like it's washing away a lot of energy and preparing us for mm, that awesome fiery birth.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I'm
not
ready
too
for that to
fiery.
happen, honestly. You know, I'm like desolate up here, and I'm tired of this desolation and loneliness. I think a lot of people are. Are you familiar with like John Wineland? Do you know who that is?
No.
All right. So well, I was just watching this guy today on YouTube, and he's this kind of like he's talks about sacred sexuality, period, but from a male's point of view. And he was talking about how a lot of guys are feeling that right now. Like they're feeling it because they need to up upgrade to the divine masculine, right? So they have to
Mm,
really embrace their loneliness instead of trying to do fix it or whatever. But it's not easy, you know. But I think it's not just a divine masculine thing. I think it's a lot of people thing. We're all ready for this stuff to be over with, like all of it. Because if they can't keep us pinned up, I feel pinned up and caged. I got to be honest with you. Like I'm ready just to get out and have fun and do something. That's it. Even if I have to miss the show for a week, 2 weeks, I don't care. I'm ready just to go.
you need a vacation. You need to have some frolicking time for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, because I'm just constantly in front of this damn computer all the time. And I think it's messing up my vision because I get to where I can't even read little words anymore, like on little
It
stuff on the back of packages. Can't
mhm,
read it.
could be old age too, because once I hit 40, oh my goodness, my old lady glasses come out.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
true.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that, I had some like really weird stuff happen. I've had a lot of weird stuff happen. I've had like typing. I don't know if anybody else has had this happen on your Discord. If you want to go to the Fringe FM Discord, by the way, you can go to fringe.fm. There's a Discord link there, or you can go to, I believe, thefringe.fm/chat room. That'll take you to the Discord. But I've had something come up where something keeps typing itself out like it's, um, I'm not typing it, but it's a message that I typed like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I want to say maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, a month ago. And I'll look up and it'll be typed across the screen and I didn't type it. And it's the same message. It's kind of a personal message, so I can't really say what it is, but it's really weird. And then
What? Like a
it
message from the beyond?
yeah, but here's the thing. It's a message that I typed though, like a month ago.
Okay.
But
Okay.
sometimes I'll look up and that message will just it'll just go across the bottom like I typed it in. And I'm not typing it in. Isn't that
Could
strange?
it could it be like your multidimensional self or a parallel self sending you a message from just beyond
I don't know. It could
maybe
be.
maybe the next dimension?
It very well could be. I have no
Mhm.
idea. I have no idea. But, and then speaking of Hawaii, my neighbor downstairs, Olivia, she's very sweet, but I thought she was dead. Like she was gone for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and her car was outside. And I thought, okay, at what point do I do like a wellness check? You know what that is? Like what a wellness check is?
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Knocking on the door to make sure someone's, like, cat didn't eat their face off or whatever.
Right, 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 exactly. So
Mhm.
I thought maybe that I could do that, and I beat on the door a few times, no answer. Well, she finally comes back yesterday, and she said that she left and went to Hawaii, and
Wow.
I was like, "Well, what was that like?" And she was telling me about how awesome it was, and yeah. So that's kind of the weirdness that's been going on here, because I kind of thought for the last 3 or 4 days I was living above a dead person, possibly.
Uh, I would have been down there knocking
I did. I
just to
beat
make
on the
sure.
door so many times,
Oh, gosh.
and I felt like,
Okay.
well, if I do a wellness check, I'm gonna piss them off because I'm gonna have like the cops come or somebody and open the door. I don't know how they do
Mhm.
wellness checks, honestly, or if I don't, and she's down there dead, then I'm gonna really feel like an asshole too, So
Ugh. Yeah,
finally, she
well,
showed up.
something like that is better to be safe than sorry. If someone's not answering and their car is there and they didn't leave a note or tell you, I
Yeah,
would
they
have
just
been probably having the landlord unhinge the front door after 2 weeks.
Well,
I
when
don't know.
when
Maybe.
you move, when you move, like where I'm from, the neighbors, we kind of take care of each other, right? Well, when you move to New York, I don't know. Some people kind of keep to themselves, but there's not that many people where I live. Just a few people here, and I mean, most of them are kind of on their own, except for like one couple. So you got to watch out for each other. Isn't that what neighbors do?
Yeah, that's how it's always been for me, especially when I've lived in duplexes or, like buildings. Like back east, they have three-story houses that are they're like three family houses, they call it, but it's like neighbor upstairs, downstairs. It's a multi-level dwelling,
Mm.
and yeah, I mean, I think it's good, especially if everyone is from a different place and your family isn't close by, or if you're living alone. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that Emily is okay and she was not dead, but frolicking in Hawaii.
It
Much
was
better.
Olivia, but that's close enough.
Oh,
Yeah,
Olivia. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So
Hey, do you know what island she was on?
no, I didn't ask. I didn't talk to her very long about it, honestly.
Huh?
She looks a lot happier though, coming back from there. Speaking of
It's
which, how's your
all
off
the
grid living
mana.
going? How's that going?
It's a lot better than last time, I'm happy to announce. We've gotten some plumbing upgrades and we're actually redoing the kitchen floor currently. So, yeah, much better than it was last time I talked to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, plumbing is working well, and we're gonna have a new kitchen floor really soon, which I'm excited about.
All
It's
right.
good.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk some esoteric stuff. Tell me what's been going on. Have you been doing readings for people, astrological stuff,
Yeah.
classes? What's been going on with you?
It's been super fun. I've been really focusing on finding my creative joy, and the money just follows, right? So it's not so much about like I have to be on the grind. It's doing what I love and what I feel attracted to doing and what I'm inspired to share with my clients and my students. So Witch School wrapped up on Embolic on February 2nd. So it was like a full year that I was doing the Witch School, and that's done. And that felt good. It was kind of like bittersweet and sad, like, oh, this is over. But it was definitely a dream of mine to do a full Wheel of the Year with students and mentor folks through that. And that was awesome. I met some cool people from all over the world and have a lot of gratitude for that. So all my witch students out there, I love you. Thank you for walking that walk with me. So that freed up a lot of time, and I've been focusing more on the Patreon, a Wandering Witch Patreon, which has
Mm.
been really fun. And I'm also doing more live streams on Instagram, and I've been collaborating with different folks. Focusing on the actual sky astrology has been a huge sort of upgrade, mind blown experience for me.
The actual
Like,
sky astrology. Tell me about that.
yeah. So I guess it was around last summer. I had seen a post from someone, everyone follows different astrologers, right? And it's tropical astrology that we see all the time. And I've always been kind of a dabbler with tropical astrology, interested in it my whole life. I know all of the grammar school students I went to primary school with. I know all their sun signs still. Like I always have just sort of been tuned into that.
Yeah.
And I had seen a post that someone said, "Oh, the sun's in, um, I don't even know what it was, say Leo," and I was like, "Okay," and or the moon was in Leo, and I had just downloaded, oh, what's it called, like a sky app, look at the stars kind of thing from your phone. So I pull up the sky app and I look at where the moon is at, and it didn't match. It was the sign before it. I was like, what's going on here? So I started to notice that it wasn't what the tropical astrologies were saying based on what my sky app, what was happening in the actual sky above me. So I started to do some research on it and realized that these tropical astrology charts that we've been following are from the year zero. They're about 2000 or so years, like they've charted them 2000 years ago when we didn't have computers, and these folks that knew how to do such things were few and far between, and they just sort of like mapped the skies, and that's what we've been using. And since then, there's been precession. Everything's moving. We're all moving. Can't be neutral on a moving train, right? So I'm moving, the sky's moving, the stars are, everything's moving. And the tropical astrology charts aren't adjusting for that. So we're about 24 degrees off. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't even handle this. Like, I thought I was a Cancer sun. I'm born in July. And then I find this, it's called Mastering the Zodiac. And they give you like the actual sky chart from when you were born with all of the things factored in, all the movements. And I'm a Gemini. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I'm a Cancer moonbeam. I'm a mermaid. What? All my identity was like, and I thought, okay,
Yeah.
why am I sourcing from this? Like, this doesn't define me, so I put it all down and walked away from um, all astrology except for the Mayan. And even that, I was like, I don't know, girl, if I even trust you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I got kind of sour about stuff because I felt like, what are you all referring to? Why am I paying attention to this if it's not based on what the sky is really saying? And then I just started meditating with the planetary beings. And so like everyone thinks of the moon as female, right? Well, it's coming to me androgynous. Everyone thinks of the earth as Mother Earth, female. It's coming to me as a masculine energy. And the communications that I'm getting through my shamanic experiences and mystical journeys and such are, hey, like, this is a human thing that you put a gender on us like this. Like, we can shift and change, and we express in all different, you know, every level of the spectrum as we want to. And so I've just been getting contrary information from what folks, it's like the common belief that's held currently. And so I've been paying attention to more what the actual sky is doing, the stars that are overhead, the planets that are in the constellations in real time, not based on the charts. And I've been getting a lot of stink about it. I had posted something on one of my social media sites and said, these are the actual sky sun sign dates. And all these people who are Leos in the tropical messaged me, 3 or 4 of them. That's who messaged me were the Leos. They were like, no way am I a Cancer. There is no way I'm a Cancer. I'm a Leo. And I was like, how many kids do you have? 3, 4, 5. I said, ow. And I said, what do you do for a living? And they're like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a preschool teacher. I'm a midwife. I'm a doula. All these super Cancerian womb mother birth, you know, typical Cancer kind of professions, and having all these babies. And here I am, thought I was a Cancer. I'm actually a Gemini. I have 4 cats. Never been called to motherhood. Some people are like, oh, it's such a Cancer thing to have babies and be a housewife. I'm not very domestic, and I've never wanted kids, and I've always felt like I'm a bad Cancer, And now that I'm a Gemini, I feel really liberated. And I think that we're really identified with our tropical signs. Like, even, mainstream, not woo or esoteric leaning folks know what sign they are, or know basically what's going on with the tropical zodiac. And it kind of feels like an overlay, and it's one piece of the puzzle maybe, but I really have been sort of advocating for the actual visible new sidereal, whatever you want to call it, what's going on in the actual sky. And it's more of like an astronomical astrology that I'm really tuned into. And it used to be the same back in the day when these charts were made. Those charts matched the sky, and now they don't. And I've been just looking at that kind of open-mindedly and reassessing all the things that I, kind of thought I was. And yeah, pausing there. It's
Well,
been really cool. And
you know
yeah,
you know why they did that, right? Why they went to Western instead of sidereal,
Why?
because of the precession of the equinox. You got the wobble, right? So technically, the energy from the stars that hits the earth where they actually are has to be adjusted because of the precession, right? So that's why it's like so usually when it adjusts from one sign over. That's why I'm an Aries in Western, but in sidereal, I'm a Pisces. See?
Right. So the sidereal has adjusted for the precession and the wobble and all that, and the tropical hasn't.
No. It's actually the other way around. Yeah, that's why
What?
it doesn't make sense that when you look up in the sky in Western astrology, you don't see it because it's not taken into the wobble of the Earth, right? It's kind of complicated, actually. The truth
Yeah,
that I've
it
come
sounds
to,
backwards from what I thought.
yeah, the truth is what I've come to is that they both kind of work because honestly, a lot of stuff is really close. It depends on what house it's into, but it's really close. So if you're like an Aries or whatever, you probably do have some Pisces energy in there somewhere, you know? I don't but here's another thing that I've come to as well. I don't want to offend any astrologers or anybody out there, but it might be a midlife thing, but I've gotten to the point or maybe to the age where I don't really need to look at a chart anymore to know what I want in my heart or who I am and all this other stuff, you know?
Hmm.
I think sometimes it complicates things. I mean, it's good to ask questions, right? And look at transits and see if they line up. That's probably the most important thing, or evolutionary astrology. But for me, it just complicates stuff because it's like, if it doesn't make sense, am I just suggestive to what it's saying? But if I backed away from it for a while, I pretty much know what I want, you know? It's hard to
Hmm.
explain.
I totally understand, and I find because that's what I do for a living is I'm a intuitive counselor or spiritual guidance counselor, and I use astrology, actual sky and Mayan, and I use the clairvoyance that I was born with and mediumship and tarot and other tools, right? To help folks kind of get to what you are saying you often know. You already know it. So the only time that we really need to seek those oracles traditionally is when we're not certain and we have like some convolution over
Hmm.
our inner knowing. Like the whole idea of practice and meditation and knowing yourself is to know yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we always can't be in that like Zen state of like, I know. And that's why we have those oracles and that's why we have each other. And when I need my taxes done, I go to an accountant. When you can't find your way, you go to a seer.
Yeah. I think so. I think so. But I do need to take a break from it, honestly, sometimes. I just got to tell you.
Mhm.
I don't
Me
know.
too.
I don't know. I get to where I'm just like overly dependent on it for answers sometimes. That's just me, though. That's not everybody.
I think that's common, and that's why when I was kind of having these different awarenesses in the summer, I was like, all right, I need to put it all down and just focus on my own self and not what the sky is or the charts or anything else. And I think it's healthy to do that. I think it's important to listen to your own self, quiet the noise around you.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're already at our first break. So we got to take that, of course. So we'll be right back. One more Naviae Allora. Stay with us. Hey, Fringe FM listeners, did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to The Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to AncientLifeOil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm, from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries, be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to AncientLifeOil.com for great CBD. That's AncientLifeOil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Want to know what's on The Fringe FM? Check out our schedule at thefringe.fm.
Hola, Fringe listeners. This is Dave Cruz of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to The Fringe FM.
This is Malorcas45, fan of The Fringe FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision for your third eye vision.
My name is Jake. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I am a void walker.
Hey, Joe Root. Thanks for lighting the void. This is Janine in the bluegrass of Kentucky, and I am a void walker.
What's up, guys? This is Damien from San Marcos, Texas, and I'm a void walker. I listen to the show to keep myself aligned with the world.
Hi, this is Laura, aka Laura Lavender. I'm from Las Vegas, and I listen to Lighting the Void because it helps me understand some of the strangest experiences I've had. So thanks for all that you do and for always being there for us, Joe.
Hi, this is Kronox from Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
Well, we're back with Naviae Allora here. Excuse me. As soon as I come back, I lost my voice. As soon as I come back, and Naviae is talking to us about how she got into sidereal astrology. You know, and I was telling her, according to my sidereal astrology, I'm a Pisces sun in the 7th house, which I said that doesn't make sense. I can't seem to hold down a relationship for anything, right? But I think, I don't know. I think you might be onto something. I don't want to just go away from that topic too quick because when you do like ceremonial magic, at least for what I do, you do use sidereal astrology. You don't use Western. I mean, you can, but a lot of guys that stick to the traditional like ceremonial magic, if they're super traditional, they'll use the sidereal Rosicrucian astrology.
Well, it's like the tropical astrology has become like a seasonal astrology, and there's magic there. It's like an overlay, but it's just not what I'm interested in right now for myself. I'm more interested in what's going on astronomically in real time above me.
Yeah, that's kind of cool too. I like that too, actually.
Yeah.
And it would make more sense too, because I've gone through my life like in and out of relationships, and all I want is like a functioning, like real deep relationship, right? And that's not just intimately, but I mean in business and everything else. And it seems like the biggest struggle for me for some reason. Yeah, you know, but
Well,
I think that's important though.
yeah, and I was saying when we were behind the gate, um, that my son is in the seventh house also. So that means it's like across from your ascendant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that feeling of like partnership is really important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um it to me it's like when I see sun in the seventh house, it's like, wow, there's a lot of relationship issues there. Don't lose yourself in your partner. Make sure that you can, you know, stand in your own energy.
Right.
And it's like that comes like a good relationship seems to come following a lot of, and I know that you do a crap ton of personal work and
That's right.
ritual work
Yeah.
around that. Um, and so do I. And it feels like, when is this gonna, for so many years, it was like, when is this gonna come? Um, I was almost 40 before I met the partner I have now, and it's been a really healing experience to have a balanced relationship for once,
Yeah. Well, I
finally.
think that, I think it's supposed to be that way. And to be honest with you, like, except for one relationship I've been in, except for one, every person that's come along has been better and more fulfilling than the last.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. More fulfilling
Oh,
in the
yeah.
form of growth for me. But the problem with that is when you find somebody that really clicks with you, then it's really hard to let them go. You know, it's really hard. But
Mhm.
I think sometimes you got to let the universe do its thing too. You know.
Mhm. I had, um I took a vow of celibacy for a year, and then was essentially single, alone for almost 7 years.
Damn, that
And
must have
a
been
lot of that
tough.
was on purpose. I was just focused on my spiritual work. I lived in yoga center ashrams. I went to herb school. I was traveling. It was a really important time. It densified me into who I am now. It wasn't easy because I love to be I need affection and love and all that, but also when you sort of like take away how you're meeting people, like women, because I'm firmly in the hetero camp. When you meet women, you're not thinking like, are you competition for me? Are you prettier than me? It doesn't matter because you're not on the hunt for a man. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I had to look at all
Yeah.
of those like darker things that when you're single and ready to mingle, that goes on. And you're meeting men with like a hey, and all of that was brought up to my heart level. There was none of that hey going on. It was like, no, I'm just meeting you as a brother. I'm meeting you as another spiritual neutral energy, and that's not going to happen. I'm not interested in like, yeah, I can appreciate how beautiful and awesome you are, but it's not going to go there. And it took that off the table, and that was so beautiful to really understand how you're meeting people from your heart and what that feels like.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you too. I feel like I'm a pretty manly type man, right? I feel like I'm a man's
Mhm.
man for sure.
Mhm.
But when it comes to that stuff, I'm not the one nighter or whatever. Like I've never been that way. And I've come to find out that like, doesn't mean it hasn't happened in my past when I was young and stupid, but we've all done stupid stuff, right? But like I've come to find out that a lot of dudes are that way. A lot of guys are that way. But there's a stigma about men because of, well, of everybody's experiences too, And but I also think a lot of people are evolving, honestly. And I hope I'm right about this. I hope I'm not delusional, but I do think that people, at least people that are on a spiritual journey, are starting to understand those forces inside them and how powerful they are, as well as precious at the same time. You know,
Mhm.
the people in the spiritual community that I've talked to kind of do understand that, you know. Um, but it is, that's a whole nother subject. I'd have to go down that road one day. I think I would probably going to do that alone and off the air, you know, in one of those membership type things. But yeah. So have you had any crazy experiences lately? Every time I talk to you, I always usually have had some kind of crazy experience.
Oh Lord. So I have a horrible dentist phobia, and it's deeper than this lifetime. I know there's more to it than just being afraid of the dentist. I've had some burly experiences as a young adult, um, but it's one of those things that feels like beyond now. You know what I mean? I work with past lives and parallel lives with clients all the time, so I know what that sort of feels like. It's harder to access for myself, honestly, but it's a resonant energy that I can sense, and I knew this teeth thing is something bigger. And yeah, so I was having this tooth pain, and I was just utterly leveled with fear thinking about how I had to go to the dentist, and was doing some EFT tapping with a friend, and holy cow, like I started to have a clairvoyant vision slash a parallel life show up. And I was watching a scene just like I do with my clients, right? But now it's my scene, and a little more challenging to hold space through this. And I'm seeing, and I'm also kind of like present as it's happening. I'm seeing this being, this humanoid thing, person, strapped to a chair, and they're being worked on with no anesthesia, and they're having like mouth, um, teeth extraction and people digging in their mouths. There's two different beings like in their mouth, and they're in pain, and I could feel it, and I recognize this being in the chair that's strapped down as myself. It looks nothing like me, but it's like when you look at a photo that someone's like, hey, I found this photo of you from high school, and you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, it's me, or a baby picture, and you're like, that's me. It was the same feeling of acknowledgement that this is me. It was so weird. And I'm crying. I'm unsure of what to do. Um, and just sort of kept present and watched and held space for this parallel version of myself. Um, and then when all of the work was done with them, um, they were free of their straps, and they stood up, and they were like 12 foot tall. And if I had to give it a gender, it was slightly male. And he reached down and he hugged me. This is all like in the astral. And he called me his little sister. And it was like I was bilocating kind of feeling like I'm here, but I'm also having this experience. And I'm like a little shaky
You're
saying,
bilocating. That's insane.
yeah, it was like I was sitting in my chair, but I'm having experience of, senses. Like I could feel, I could see, I could hear. I wasn't smelling anything. And thankfully I wasn't tasting anything, because those two are never usually pleasant. The clairsnifiance and gustance. And so I'm like, why am I always tasting bad things? It's always like I smell like tobacco, or the smell isn't usually great, but the taste is almost always unfortunate.
That's weird.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes it's flowers, but it's almost never flowers. I was like, oh, what's this putrid smell? Luckily, I don't seem to lead with those two clairs. But yeah, so this being is super tall. I'm like up to his hip. He bends down, he hugs me. I can feel like the roughness of his sort of like overall-y uniform suit he's wearing. Crazy amount of details, and his skin is blue, and he has like super short, almost like fur on his head, but it's kind of like shaped like a hairline, but it's
Yeah.
not really hair. It's bizarre. And as this is happening, I'm checking myself because even though people look at me and they're like, girl, you're so woo, I'm actually really skeptical about stuff I haven't experienced firsthand. I'm discerning, right? I take everything with a grain of salt and kind of wait to pass it through my own intuitive filters, and maybe I don't even need to make a judgment call, but I'm not going to just buy into everything people say, right? I'm just like, okay, that's your experience, and just kind of like, you know, let it be. And so when folks say I'm a star seed of whatever, or I'm a Palladian, and I'm like, okay, you know, that's your experience. I don't know. I really don't. And now I'm kind of sitting here looking at this being that's blue and 12 feet tall as my parallel self. And I'm like, really? Really? Am I like, this is happening right now? And I kind of like had to eat my own judgment because I'm having this experience. And I asked him some questions, and I asked him his name, and he told me. I asked him, where are we? Because I'm with him. And he said, we're on R Arcturus. And it was AR-Arcturus. And I was like, okay, of course we are. Of course we're on this like off-world place. Okay. And I'm like laughing at myself, like mocking my own judgment at the same time. And, some other things, whatever. So then I come back, I write it all down, and I start looking up Arcturus. And I realize that there is a Hawaii connection to Arcturus. I didn't find any reference to AR-Arcturus. Who knows? And also I have to say, like, I'm taking this myself with a grain of salt. This was my experience, but I'm not writing it down as fact or fiction. It was just the vision I had and the experiences I have had. And everyone needs to just draw their own conclusions. And if it help someone or support someone, that's what this story is for. And it's just for like the purpose of sharing and interesting, like what's going on with Navs these days. So I do some research on Arcturus, and I find out that it's one of the main Hawaiian navigating stars that the Hawaiian sailors would use. And they call it Hokulea. And recently, I believe it was 2014 to 18, this reproduction of a Hawaiian canoe that possibly sailed the early Polynesians to these islands was made, and they did a lap around the world with it. And then they've done trips to California. They've done different things with this Hokulea, like original reproduction of the original Hawaiian double-hulled canoes. And someone gave us a piece of the sail. They were breaking up the sail, chopping it up, and like selling it for fundraisers, and is like, memorabilia kind of thing, because the Hokulea came to our island and they had these sails for pieces of the sail as a memento. So we have one in our house. It was so weird. And Arcturus is a bright orange star. And all of my life, when the sun sets in a certain like hot orange color, anyone who knows me has heard me say this. I say, that's the color of my soul when I see that orange color. And it's moving to me. Ooh. When I see that orange in the sky, it's like home. It's my soul color. And now I'm reading that this Arcturian star is bright orange. And there's this Hawaii thing. So I'm having all this like, what's going on with this Arcturian stuff, right? So I go to sleep and I wake up like one of those cold sweat, like, aha moments. Like I'm falling asleep and I'm having like a download just before I'm in the, theta state or whatever. And I wake up kind of like anxious, sweaty, like, oh, and I realized that the reason why that Arcturian being felt so familiar is because I've experienced him before. And I remember. And I'm like writing it down. And so I'll tell you the origin of this. So I was living in Florida in 2011, and I had gone to live at a community for a short time in the Pacific Northwest. And I had just arrived. I was there maybe a day. I was talking to the kitchen manager of the community, and I was asking her, how can I be of service? What can I do to support mealtime, et cetera, whatever. Like I'm on deck. And I'm standing there talking to her outside the main building, and I feel this pillar of energy. It was pillar shaped, like a round energy, and it was from the ground about 10, 12, 15 feet up, just shows up. And I had never had that experience before. And I kind of like looked to my right at it, and I was like, okay. And she's talking to me, and she stops and she says, I'm sorry, excuse me, is that for you? And I said, what? Because I'm experiencing weird things all the time. And I just assume I'm experiencing it by myself, So I'm like, what? And she says, that pillar of energy that just descended to your right. And I said, oh, you can feel that? And she said, yeah, I can feel it. And I said, can you describe it? She's like, okay, it's about 10, 12, 15 feet tall, maybe. If I had to give it a gender, slightly male. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm feeling also. She's like, I'm going to let you go deal with that. And she went into the kitchen. So I walked down to the cabin where I was staying, could feel it the whole time, always to my right. I met up with a friend that I had gone there with, and I said, do you feel this? And she's like, that pillar of energy to your right? I said, yeah. Do you feel it? And she says, oh, I sense it. She said, it's really tall. And I said, yeah, okay. So 2 different people are feeling this. It's not just me like tripping out, having my own experience. This is like confirmable by other people. So I lay down and I close my eyes and I hear my mother's voice and I hear, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And I open my eyes like, well, full telepathy with my mother. And now I'm in the bush. My cell phone's not working, so I can't call her. I just walked 15 minutes down the mountain to get to my cabin. I'm not going up to the main house in the dark at midnight, So I think, okay, like I'm just going to send prayers and I'll call first thing in the morning. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't do something to turn off the sound.
No.
Jungle connection. So I grab my tarot cards and I cut the deck and I get 10 of swords and death card. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Someone's ill at death's door. So first thing in the morning, I call my mother and she answers and she goes, where are you? Just like I heard in my head. And I said, oh my God, what's going on? And she says, Grandma, you need to come. So I was on the first flight to New England and I got there and my grandmother was in ICU and I stood 3 weeks bedside with her when she was passing. And I felt that pillar here and there, not consistently, but every now and again I'd feel that pillar, especially when I was alone. So I was alone a lot with in the ICU with her. And then I came back to Florida where I was living and I lived in this little cool neighborhood by the bayou in Tampa Bay area. And I had maybe 3 or 4 goddess friends that all lived within a house or 2 away. Very cool little goddess enclave. And one of them was hosting a seance right around this time. So I went there and the medium, I had done trades with her, so we were familiar. She opened the door and she looked at me and she kind of tilted her head way back and she said, oh, Naviae, you've brought the Anubis with you. And I was like, what? And she said, the pillar of energy, I call it the Anubis. Usually I invite them, but looks like you brought it. Thank you. Come on in. I was like, what are you talking about? And I mean, so this is the feeling of the being that I met in that parallel life experience. It felt like that pillar of energy, that slightly male, super tall. And I feel that it is like a galactic expression of myself, or a alternate dimension. I don't know. Like, the jury's out, and I've not been that I'm the starseed, person.
Yeah.
I've spent most of my focus magically and spiritually on being an earth being here now in my body. And that's been kind of like a bone of contention with me with the Abrahamic religions, is like, why are we trying to, bring the rapture and ascend and leave the paradise that this is?
Exactly.
Let's like ground ourselves and look at the beauty around us and be fully here now, because that's where it's going on for me.
I'm telling you,
where
like,
I want to be.
that's exactly how I feel too. Like, this earth is the divine plan. And not only that, like, you don't really know how much time you have here. So you don't know if this is your last incarnation or whatever this is. So why the hell why aren't we living life to the fullest all the time? I don't get it. I really don't.
I know. It's like it sort of gives it an excuse of like treating the earth as like a check-in, check-out motel or something, that like our home is in heaven, our home is off-world, our home is away. When for me, it's this is the body that you're born into, whether or not you're an eternal being and have, other alternate incarnations. I'm sure we do. We're multi-dimensional selves. I'm experiencing it, much to my surprise. But I mean, I'm still focused here and now, and in the body that the earth gave me. It's a loner,
Yeah.
but it's from here. It's gonna go back to the earth when I'm done with it, and when it's done with me. But yeah, so that's been kind of like I'm firmly a Tellurian focused witch. I want to honor the earth and be here now, present. And it's been a struggle for me, because I can, and I know that you're also kind of on that same page. Like, you do ritual to get out of your body and to experience, dreamtime astral experiences, etc.
Yeah.
And it's come fairly easy to me to be working that sort of thing, and a lot harder to be physical, and a lot more challenging to, eat right, exercise, be in your body, feel what you feel, not try and just be in off-world meditation in the ethers a lot,
Yeah, but
balance.
the thing is if you exercise too, like, you'll start balancing out. Even though I know exactly what you're talking about, you'll start balancing out. But yeah, I'm with you on that, because this is the divine plan, Earth. We got to take a break here, but like, I don't know. You don't know if you're coming back, if this is your last incarnation or whatever. But most of us that are my age know you'll wake up 10 years from now and feel like, what just happened? So why the hell are you not living your life? Why are you not living life to the fullest? That's a good question. I think we all should ask ourselves. We'll be right back, though, with Naviae Allora. Also, the phone lines, we'll open the phone lines up when we come back at 1-800-588-0335. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on The Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is V, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I'll guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root in the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new Art Bell. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, aka the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
This is Barbara Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. It neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the results.
Have you heard of heavy metals?
Yeah!
I'm not talking about the heavy metals in the junkyard. I'm talking about the heavy metals that build up in your body. Heavy metals in your body can make you feel sluggish, fatigued, and just plain off. Why not try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? Cleansing your body and making you feel great. Cleansing the inside of your body of intruders that sneak their way into you and set up an intruder camp. Life Change Tea helps remove unwanted intruder camps. Brew it, steep it, and drink in the results. Tastes great, so you can create a new health habit. Our tea loves to help people. It just needs the chance. So order yours today by logging on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our Life Change Super Strength Tea is waiting. This could be a beautiful relationship. Take charge of your health. Order at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
The Fringe FM isn't just a radio station. We also provide services for all your audio production needs. If you're interested in live radio or pre-recorded podcasts, we're here to help. We even do audio enhancements and voiceovers if needed. If you want to do a podcast or live radio show and even want the option to syndicate on terrestrial radio, from simple audio file enhancement to live production and call screening, we have you covered. We have worked with some of the best professionals in the business in order to provide coaching instruction for content creation, show structure, and more. Contact The Fringe Digital Media for more at info@thefringe.fm. That's info@thefringe.fm, or call 501-777-5631 for a consultation.
From the Kingdom of Arkansas, you are
listening to Joe Root and Lighting the Void here on The Fringe FM.
Man, I'd give anything. I'd probably chop off a left toe right now if I could just go out to like a rave or something and just let go. I'm talking about a crowd of people, have fun. Like, I'm looking forward to that day. If that doesn't happen soon, then we're just going to we're going to have, and I'm not playing about this, we're going to have like a underground fringe get together that no one's going to know where it is unless you get an email or something. I mean, aren't you ready for that, Naviae? Like, aren't you ready to just cut loose? Seriously.
I'm ready to cut loose. I feel like I am cutting loose, but I don't want to be around a crowd of people because I'm really...
I do. I'm ready to go to a concert or something, man. Like, I'm not the kind of person that you could just put in a box and stare at a computer screen for like, and funny enough, like I've been in this position for really long enough now to know that I don't want to be that, you know, I don't want to be in a box staring at a computer screen for the rest of my life, partying on the internet, never making a connection with somebody. Like, it freaking destroys me. Literally.
Yeah. This will not be our reality forever. And yeah, we just have to see it's just a little window of time. It's not going to be for the rest of our lives.
Jesus Christ.
Sure.
I hope you're right. It better not be.
It won't be. And
I know how prisoners feel while they start doing push-ups and like lifting weights and doing all kinds of crap because they just get stir crazy, you know?
yeah, because you're in the throes of winter still there.
I mean, it's still winter, but I'm like isolated. There's no civilization out here. It's like I'm out in the middle of these like cornfields, and then when you go to town here, I don't know. I don't like the vibe here. I'm sorry. I don't like it.
It's okay.
I belong near the ocean or the desert or both. One of the two.
Southwest?
Maybe. I really liked Florida when I went though. Like, I fell in love with it. I could be alone in Florida, probably, easily. Or Hawaii even. Or Fiji. I don't want to be alone. That kills me too. But at the same time, like, I think I could get away with it in a place like that. Just because of the energy, you know?
You're fed by nature. You're fed by
Exactly.
the vibe of the place.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, there's a lot of mana here in Hawaii. A lot of natural juju and energy. And yeah, different places have different kinds of energy. So I think there's something to that. Like, not everyone is going to vibe in the desert. Not everyone is going to vibe in the mountains. That's okay. You know, I definitely love to be close to the ocean, but I also have lived in the mountains and have loved it. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to be real with what is calling to you and what you're calling in.
well, I mean,
Life's too short.
you know me well enough now. Like, what really fills my soul is connection and exploration. I like all the same human stuff everybody else does too, right? Like, I like Netflix. I like to watch a movie. I like to sit on the couch and eat popcorn and stuff. But I like to go to the beach or skywatch or go to a concert. And, you know, I'm just saying, like, I think when you get to these midlife crisis type things, you just want to live your life, you know? Like, you want to feel all the good stuff. You want to do all the good stuff. And it's a lot of it is simple. It's very simple things. You start to learn to appreciate those things, if that makes sense.
Oh yes. I've got some years on you. I know. I feel that it's the simple things, the day-to-day joys and the creative like flushes of passion, and I don't know, that's what gets me through the days and through the hard times.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not that I don't love doing the show and radio. I love doing this stuff. But without the life to go with it, it's just like, keep doing this and keep, building your internet audience. And then what? And then what? Right? And then what? You just keep boxing yourself in. And you're not even enjoying the earth,
And also too, I mean, we're sort of in the same genre of work. I have a podcast I'm doing readings, I'm giving a lot in my Patreon and services. You're emitting every night of the week with doing your shows and your Patreon and all the other stuff that comes with having a radio station and being out there. You're emitting and giving away a lot of energy to folks around you, to folks listening, and I know that you love it and I love it too, but also we need to replenish. We need to have our touchstones. We have to have the natural connections to feed us and feed our souls. And for me, it's cats and partner and friends and the land.
I would love
it'll
a
be
cat,
different
a partner,
for
and
everyone.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. But there has to be that give back, that time for you to refuel, or your well is going to be empty. It's just the way it is.
Man, I think for me, the worst thing for a human is to be alone. I honestly believe that. Like, if you dropped one human being down here on Earth, at first, they would it'd be like Castaway. They'd figure out how to make it awesome, right? But I think it really depends on the person too. Some people like to be alone, and I think those people end up in relationships all the time. And the people that want to be like in relationships, right? And they want to be in relationships and have connection and fun and all this stuff, they end up alone. It's really weird. It's really weird.
I'm glad that I had that time alone because I was in intense relationships the entirety of my 20s. It was super deep, super intense. And then it was like 28, 29, it all needed to end. And I needed to like recapitulate myself, find out who I was, and like give away all my things and wander, and then coming into a relationship 7 years after that, it was a little bit longer actually, but I was a different sort of partner at that time. I was not codependent. I was looking for someone as is instead of like,
As
I think
is,
throughout my
like,
20s.
That's what it
Yeah,
says at the used car lot. You know that? All the
it's
cars.
it's as is. It's like that's the best advice I could give to
Right.
anyone looking for a partner. And it's like, accept people as they are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing. And now what's his name? Daniel Bruce Levine. He came on to say that too. When he came on the show, he was like, you don't have to like be anybody different than who you are or change anything about you to be, to have connection, be loved, and all this other stuff. Right. And it's not, if you're listening to this and you think, am I doing that? Or I agree with you, whatever. I don't think any single human being believes that, honestly. Deep down, I really don't. They've just been trained to by society. Society has made you treat people like cars. It has, man. Like, you can have the deepest soulful connection with somebody with like, and I know this because I'm a radio host, without ever even seeing them. So if you can have that, what makes you think that they have to come with a bunch of commodities and stuff too? Like, I just don't believe in that at all.
For me, it's resonance. If people show up and I can accept them as is, and I'm not looking at them with like, oh, they're great, but they just need to change how they dress, and they need to part their hair in a different way, and they're all those things like, or if they could just stop eating meat, whatever, people have. I had this one client, long-term client, love them so much, but they have been on again, off again with this one relationship, and they're just so different. And one of them is a morning person and super like up and at 'em and wants them to like get up in the morning and do their routine with them.
Yeah.
And the other is a night person and they have to be quiet after 8 because they go to bed and like they work till late. I'm like, this is
Is it their job or are they
maybe
really just like a morning or night person?
it is, and it's they've fueled their life around their tendencies and their natural inclinations, right? So he works a lot at night and she's up and off in the morning, and that's how their jobs are because that's what they wanted. So yeah, and I'm like, well, maybe you don't live together, or maybe you just honor each other's rhythms.
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's I need you to be healthier and do it my way. You know what I mean? So one feels shamed, one feels wrong, one feels superior, one
Right.
feels, frustrated. So, and it's not that they don't love each other. I've been watching this dance for a long time and there's love there, but maybe not everyone is compatible to your lifestyle that you love or that you feel romantic love for. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
either you can accept people the way that they are,
Or you don't. Yeah.
or you need to make a different decision around, like, because give it your all and then see where it goes. At some point.
I mean, that's what I do. I always give everything it doesn't matter what I'm doing, even in like career, whatever, I will give it like my best, everything that I have. And, but I think that also makes you get resentful at the end because if it doesn't pan out, you're like, man, like, what did I do wrong or what's wrong with me or whatever? And the truth is there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing you did wrong or there's nothing wrong with you. It was just, It is what it is,
And being self-reflective post-relationship is so important, but not to go into like the I'm bad because or I failed. It was a beautiful experience, appreciate it for what it is and what it was, and then see like that's why the people that you're meeting are better and better and more compatible because you've seen like you've like adjusted your frequency to
Right.
you've calculated your picker to find a more aligned mate.
Well, what I usually do, and what I do is I take a piece of paper out and I write down the 10 things that I want a person to have, right? And I don't expect, you have to be realistic, right? You can't expect someone to just hit all 10, but you go from like the most important down to the bottom, like the 10, right? And then, like if a person gets into that top 5, but here's my thing too. Like one of the things in my top 5 is I have to have an instant soul connection with them. So I'm not the type of person that's going to date or even pursue somebody that I don't feel an instant connection with.
Mm-hmm.
That's really weird. And I don't chase, and I do not date or chase or any of that stuff. I won't do it because it's caused, I tried it and it's just lame, superficial. It doesn't work. There's a lot of lying and you're always meeting a person's representative. But you know what I'm saying? Like you're never meeting that person. But for some reason, like when I just let it go and I'm like, you know what? I always give it to the universe. That thing just shows up. And it's hard to believe in that, when you're not in that state. But I think that's just like when your faith gets tested, sometimes too.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
But you should do that for a career. You should do that. It's not, everything isn't just about relationships. Like it should be like, what do I want to feel like, healthy wise, look like stuff for career. Like what do I want in my career? What do I want to do in 5 years? I'm only saying this stuff because people ask me all the time, oh, they don't really know what they want to do. And they're trying this and they're trying that and they're trying this. And I'm like, you just need to like get a piece of paper out and be real, precise about what it is that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Even in
I feel
career,
like-
you don't have to find a name for the career, but what kind of work do you like to do? What makes you happy? you know?
I feel that there's so much wisdom in that know thyself, and that's such a gold mine right there. Because if you can get clear with what you want and what makes you happy and what sparks your joy for real, and then let that be the motivation, let that be your guiding arrow in love, in work. I think people think we have to do like things that will make us a lot of money,
No, you don't.
but it's not about having a ton of money. If you're miserable every day going to this job, like how it's so expensive to do that. It's stealing your joy, your soul by trudging away at something that you aren't enjoying.
Yeah, and I think too, some people get caught up too because they kind of like their job because it either they really enjoy it, it don't make them enough money, or they kind of enjoy it and it makes them a lot of money, but they're being called to something else, and then it confuses them too. And I was talking to my neighbor about this actually, where you don't have, and Amalia talked about this once too. You don't have to make a career out of something that you enjoy doing if you're happy with your job, like if you're happy with your job, you can just do other stuff for a hobby. And if you start making money off of it, great. But I think when you lose your passion for something is when things start becoming painful. At least for me, it does. I can't do things that I'm not passionate about. I just can't. So if I'm into my job, I'm really into it. Like if I'm into a person, I'm all in. And if I'm into whatever I'm doing, I'm into it. And I think I come off kind of intense for some people, I think.
I see that. I'm the same way though. And the downside to that, like if I'm in, I'm all in. If I'm digging it, I'm digging it. But if I'm not, I can't really force myself to even pretend or try. I'm just like, not feeling it, and I mean, that's not always a great thing either.
No.
But I have to, you know what I mean? You have to dig deep and be like, okay, I can muddle through. But it's like I'm so fueled by my passion and my creativity and my interests that's what I want to focus on. And for the most part, that's what I get to do in my life. And I'm really grateful for that. But yeah,
well, you're living a good life. According to people, if you ever, here's the thing. If you ever feel, and I'm not saying you do, but if you ever feel like you're not fulfilled, keep in mind that there are people out there that would love to be in your shoes, right? Like, especially you, Naviae. I mean, you may not be rich, right? But you're a podcasting, you're living off grid, you're a free spirit, you have a partner, you have a deep connection, you got some pets too, right? I bet.
I'm super fortunate. Yeah, I have 4 beautiful kitty cats.
So you're not like alone like a lot of the world is out there right now. You have everything your heart desired. And I think a lot of times people, and I'm guilty of this myself, it's like, well, I'll have everything my heart desires once I make a bunch of money. And then you're just focused on the money. And the funny thing is money doesn't come around when you're focused on it. Like it just doesn't. Not for me, it doesn't. It's when I just start doing stuff is when it comes around.
It's like the elusive carrot. Is that also when you're focused on relationship, it doesn't come?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and once I start, I've always done that too. Like, and I mean, that's kind of hard to do. And I'm speaking not just for myself, because I've had conversations with other people about this, because they're alone and they really want to connect with somebody, and that's the way it is, right? But that deep yearning and wanting and that emotion causes it to not show up. And the funny thing is when you're just like, you know what, the hell with it, right? Like if the right person will come along. If they really love me, then they love me. And if they don't, whatever, If you can get to that state, things just happen for you. It's really weird. It's like magic. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want or desire or even ritualize it, but at some point, like you got to let it go. Because if you don't let it go, you're going to be in that stuck space.
What I said to the universe was, because I had some crazy experiences once I got back into the dating world. Oh, I could write a book.
Did you do
Stalkers,
the Did you
name
do the
it. Oh
apps?
yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
doing any more
It was like
apps.
I had a giant magnet for all the convicts and lunatics and stalker people out there that just wanted to like leech off women or abusers, or I had people
What do you
on
mean
dating
leech off
apps.
women? Were you like taking
Oh,
your money?
like gigolo type men that were dating 7, 8 women and getting money from them.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I had this one guy message me. I mean, this is a 3-hour podcast, Joe. Like, I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole. But I had one guy on a dating app I was on message me, not for a date or anything. He said, "Hey," he said, "there's a guy that I work with that is talking about you, that he's going to try and date you. And I know that he likes to hit women." He said, "This is his screen name. Don't go on a date with him."
He likes to hit women, like beat them?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you know what I like? I like to hit guys like that. So that'd be
Isn't that
cool if I
awful?
could find him.
Yeah. So I messaged him back. I said, "Thank you so much for warning me." He was like, "My mama raised me right." He's like, "I'm telling everyone that I see he interacts with on here." He's like, "I'm on here just to shadow him." He was like Good Samaritan. Yeah.
We should have
And
talked about this from the beginning. So
oh my gosh.
So there are guys out there that literally like try to hook up with a bunch of girls to take their money.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But I could see that working actually.
Oh yeah. There was this one guy, he was pagan, and he saw me on there and he was like, "Well, I see that you're pagan. I'm a pagan too." And he went on my Facebook and he was like, "Oh, we have 2 friends in common," and like all up in it, like, "Let's meet, let's video chat, let's whatever."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, slow your roll," and
Yeah.
the 2 friends we had in common were like friends of friends, so I didn't really know them. But I told one of my mutual friends with this one woman, I said, "Hey, there's this guy," and she called her, and this one was like, "You tell Naviae," because we had like seen each other. I used to priestess all the rituals and stuff, so she had been to some of the rituals, but I didn't really know her well, like by sight maybe, enough to be friends on Facebook, I guess. And she was like, "You tell Naviae to not go anywhere near him." And I Googled him, and a site called don'tdatehimgirl.com came up.
Oh, I got to look this up.
I don't know, this is like 10 years ago. It might still be up, but there was a website called don'tdatehimgirl.com.
Yeah.
And this guy was on there, and it was entries from women that he had conned. He was living with a woman, and he had left his laptop open or something, and she went in and saw he had all these different dates with all these different women.
Oh my God.
And there was a lot of money being given to him from different women. So he had quite a scam going on. He was handsome, charming, kind of like a, yoga woo guy.
Yeah.
The man bun kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of women are into that look.
And he's playing on all the girls' heartstrings. They're like, "Oh, I want to help you,"
Namaste.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So no. Internet dating was not a fun thing for me at all.
Well, I mean, I've had that happen to me too, where people want to help and they support and stuff like that, but it's not something that I've never been comfortable with it. Like I've never been. It gets to the point where you're like, you don't want to accept it because you feel bad that you're accepting it. I think any guy, and I'm sorry, dude, I'm sorry, but if you're like a man, I think you should. This is going to sound really bad. I probably shouldn't say it. But I'm just saying, like, if you're a man and you have a woman that's constantly just forking over money to you, I'm not saying it's okay. Like if they help you, that's fine, right? If they help you get to a certain point, it's fine. But if you're like playing with their heart just so you can line your pocketbook, that's terrible.
Well, I'm not gonna like pass judgment on people.
I will. That's terrible.
Giving money to their lovers, boyfriends, whatever. I don't know the situation, but what was off was that he had several women thinking they were the only game in town,
Oh yeah, he was
giving
playing
him
them all for sure.
a lot
Yeah.
of money, and he was living with someone and dating like 6 or 7 other women. So they all thought they were the only one. And then he was trying to get with me. So yeah. But on the contrary to all these nightmare stories that I've experienced and others, but I have had a friend on the island meet someone, first person she found on that dating app, and they're married and they're happy and they're like adorable. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of, you know, it's like if the universe wants you to meet, you're going to meet. I don't know. Maybe it's through internet dating, maybe it's through the laundromat, but
Yeah.
it'll find a way.
Well, I think that's what scars people, man. Like I always experience this too. Like, and I think you do that when you get to a certain age, right? Because when you're young, you start having your first experiences. So you don't really have to date people that have backstories or anything, because you're making the backstories. But like when you get to right, when you get to my age, everybody's got a backstory of pain, you know, and it's like, okay, well, I've got one too, but can we not do that, you know? Or because I guess I'm a hopeless romantic. I always feel like we can do the high school love thing all over again, but I'm starting to realize that's a little bit unrealistic, you know? But
Can you be a hopeful romantic?
A hopeful romantic, yeah. But isn't that a shame? That's a shame.
Well, there's opportunity to work through the trauma and the wounds so that when you meet someone, yeah, that happened to you, but it's not a well of sorrow and pain anymore. It's transformed.
Yeah, and you
It
start
can be
projecting that onto people too, right? Here's the old nomenclature that everybody knows. If you're insecure and you're afraid someone's going to cheat on you all the time, even if they're not a cheater, what happens if you stay in that fear state? What usually happens?
like you're going to attract that situation.
They end up cheating on you, right? And from your perspective, they end up cheating on you, but usually they just left you because you're being a freak, you know, but, or you're just way insecure, but they just, they end up leaving you or they end up cheating on you. If you project that someone's going to do to you what another person's always done to you, and after a while, even if they do little things to, and I think, who did a video on this? Oh, Teal Swan did a video on this called the dupe thing. It was called the dupe method or whatever, or the dupe situation. But anyways, it ends up happening that way, that you project that stuff onto them. And it's funny. It's a weird, dark thing, I think, that happens when we project, and we're all guilty of it, including myself. When we project, we end up causing in some sense of the word, the other person to create that reality that we're projecting onto them. It's really weird.
It's like we're stunted there sometimes, but you have to catch yourself. You know what I mean? At some point, you have to be like, wow, I'm perpetuating this pattern. And is this person that I'm with now, are they also imprinted with the opposite, with the magnetic resonance on the other side?
Yeah.
Is that why we're together? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, that's deep.
It is though. Like, but I think,
It's deep.
we went through the break, and we don't have to take it. That's fine. But I'm just I really don't like, I have a hard time, Naviae, accepting, like, I want to get in this place where I'm just fully funded by patrons or fully funded by altar boxes or fully funded by something, because I don't want to be in a place anymore where I have to accept like donations or charity, and it's not because I don't appreciate it. And that is exactly what's kept the show going on. But I'm just telling you, like, as a man, it doesn't feel good. At least for me, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. So I can't imagine how a dude could not only be living with a woman, but playing other women to get their money, like, that's horrible. And he's making them all feel like they're the one. And you know what happens because of that? Those 6 girls that went through all that other stuff for 7 or whatever will never trust another guy again because of this guy who needs punched in the face.
They might, though. I'm going to give them that open opportunity. The woman that I talked to, the friend of a friend, she had moved on, and she was like, pfft, you know, she wasn't wallowing in all broken. She was out there, you know, encouraging me to walk away.
Thank God for
And
her.
yeah, and well, also that website. I started Googling everybody after that. I thought that was brilliant. Don't date him, girl.com. I heard it just like that in my head. But yeah, I mean, we're all super resilient, and we're here to evolve and shift and change. We don't have to stay in any broken state. I don't believe that. And I support my clients all the time. Almost every day I'm doing readings with folks. And we're working through some big heavy stuff. We don't have to stay in a dismembered, dislocated, disjointed situation.
Fractioned place.
Fractured. Yeah. I don't think we're meant to live there. You can honor it and then move through the healing process and consciously shift and awaken and evolve.
Yeah, see, I
Move
believe
on,
that too. And if you know that, like, and a lot of people that listen to the show, I know that, and you catch yourself in a situation with someone that's fractured or whatever, I think what you need to do eventually is start trying to, I think we want to run from drama all the time and trauma and all this stuff, but I think that's good. You should do that after a while. But
you got to have good boundaries.
We're also here to help heal people
solid
too.
Boundaries.
So you got to balance that.
Absolutely. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to stand in your center. I think that a lot of folks, especially the empaths and the healer sensitives of the world, give till it hurts. And I feel like I've had to really train myself to have good boundaries, healthy boundaries, for my own preservation and for my own, right business practice. Like, it's not appropriate for someone who does readings and sessions like I do to not have clear, solid boundaries.
Yeah, Mary Ducena talks about this all the time too. She'll have people just.
She's awesome.
But she'll have people just suck the life out of her sometimes if she's not careful.
Same. Oh yeah, and it's not because it's malicious. It's because these people, whoever they are, in these different situations, are needing support and energy, and maybe haven't learned how to take it from the earth or from, connection to their own high self. Yeah. I had a friend once that used to say, because they're in a healing practice, and they would say that their boundary was that if people wanted to connect to them, they would redirect the energy down into the earth, and then it could come up to them. But it had to be grounded in the earth first. They weren't going to, like, heart to heart or, heart to solar plexus or whatever different connections people want to kind of cord you at, And I thought that was a beautiful visual.
Isn't that what creates, like, codependency? That kind of thing?
All those cords. It can. I would think, yeah. Interdependence. It's okay. I mean, we all want people around us. Most of us want people around us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're, no person's an island, so we need each other. But there has to be healthy boundaries, healthy communication. Even in the heat of arguments I've had with some super woke friends and coworkers and such, and there's been a few times where I would say, you know what, I need space right now. And then this one person would be like, okay, respect. And we were like at it, like, this is how I feel, la la la, going through it. And I would just be like, okay, like, anything that you're saying isn't getting to me. I'm just kind of, I'm oversaturated. I
Yeah.
want to work this out, but I need space. And then you need to have the person that you're dealing with respect that.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this, but like, is the point of debating or processing to have resolution? If so, then it has to be honored where everyone's at, throughout that process. Like that fundamental respect has to be there in relationship, whatever relationship it is.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Right. Like that should be a thing where, well, what I usually do too is if it gets to that point, like I'll go for a walk. And if I can walk in nature or walk especially at night or anything like that, I'll just start feeling better immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Or put on some music and walk, like with some headphones or something, and just walk. I'll start feeling better immediately.
Take off your shoes and put your feet on the ground. That always helps me right away, even though it's sharp lava rock here.
I take a shower. We're talking psychic self-defense here now.
Mm-hmm. Or a little salt scrub. Oh my gosh, I love me some salt scrub.
I went through this NLP session, Naviae, with Andy Cooper from the Helios School that I'm going through right now with.
Oh.
Which is kind of like NLP mixed with magic and Golden Dawn and all kinds of different stuff, right? And I went through this NLP session, and it caused me to like have a whole bunch of memories that I forgot about. Like it's really cool, but people are afraid of NLP because they think that you're gonna try to program them or something. But really, it was a method that actually worked for me, and it was kind of hard for me because I woke up from it and I was like, okay, well, this was a lot easier than I thought. I thought I had to go through like months and months and months of therapy to start healing some of this stuff. And I'm not saying it's all healed, but it works pretty quick,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's like now I have all these tough decisions I got to make that I'm kind of afraid to make in my life with certain people in business and all kinds of different things, because I realized I got into some of them because I felt like I needed to give to get back, if that makes sense. Like if I give enough and keep giving and giving and giving and giving, and I'm not just talking about money, there's other things you can give, then eventually I'll be valued. And that came from my childhood. That came from the little nerdy fat kid that didn't have any friends when he was little. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We can do a reading.
For me, no, I don't do that like online. Like, I guess go ahead now that you already put it out there.
Or it can be whenever. I didn't mean right now.
Yeah, but
I'm just putting it out there that we
but
can
to me,
do
it's
a
like
reading.
that's obvious, right? When you talk about that, it's like, well, that's obvious. You were a child that didn't have this or that, and now you want it as an adult, and you're trying to do all this stuff to get it. It doesn't matter what we tell ourselves consciously. We can tell ourselves all day long stuff consciously. Until the unconscious hears it or understands it, it's not going to change. It's really crazy.
We're complex beings. We're complex consciousness. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And isn't that amazing that you're such a mystery to unravel? You have this whole lifetime to unravel yourself.
I mean,
You're a deep dude.
Have you ever heard some of the people that do the most messed up stuff will give you the best advice in the world. Like you'll go to them for relationship advice, for life advice, for all kinds of different things, for advice. But, 3 drinks at night or something in there, I don't know. Like, you're like, what? Who is this person? And it's because I think
they're like some sage.
Right. Like, I think it's because we know a lot consciously. like intellectually, but intellect isn't everything. It's stimulating, it's fun, but it's not everything. And it's damn sure not growth, right? I mean, even Israel Regardie talked about this. It's what you grow from in your unconscious. What can you do and grow in unconsciously? In other words, your deep pattern stuff. And that's
like intellect versus wisdom.
right. And that's the hardest thing to get to, I think. It's easy to understand why we do a lot of things that we do and talk about it and give advice and watch TV shows and read books, but to get the unconscious to stop doing it is an entirely different thing.
It's the secret, I think.
Yeah,
do you feel that the NLP is working for you?
Yeah, I do.
Really, fairly successful. I love it.
I think it. I mean, I'm not saying it's the cure, end all, be all, but it's worked a lot faster than other things that I've done. You know, if I've been to therapy, and I think everybody should go to therapy. I think everybody that's alive, unless you're just the happiest, most fulfilled person on the earth, should always like go to some type of therapy so they can grow and get better as a person. That's just my opinion, though. But in regular therapy, for some reason, they just keep taking you back through the same stuff, and it's hard to find a good therapist that actually wants to work out your problem and cure it instead of just talking about it. And if you're talking to a psychiatrist, they just want to find another pill to put you on. And most of them don't really take things from a Jungian point of view. So, yeah, that's kind of why I got into magic and all this other stuff too, you know, like because I saw that it was a way to grow and retrain the unconscious as well.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I mean, ritual speaks to the unconscious. That's what's going on, is all the symbols, and you're on autopilot dropping into that alpha state. I love it. I love that sort of liminal space. I could swim in that forever. Yeah.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
Neuro-linguistic programming was designed by a really, like, the guy that designed it, I heard, was a really kind of dark kind of person, right? But it does work if you just do it on yourself. It's incredibly effective.
Maybe he was on don'tdatehimgirl.com.
I bet he is. I went to that website, by the way, just to see. They got him. They should come they should have a man's website about that too. You know?
They're still there?
Yeah, but how many people get like put on that website just because somebody had one bad date or something too, you know?
I don't know. There's always a risk for that. For slander, I guess, right?
Yeah, like once you get put on the Don't Date Him Girl, here it is. It's like the DDH book. So the bastard broke your heart. Now what? That's the 10 steps
it's like
to
a
ditch the heartbreak and
site.
start to date smart. Oh my God.
Oh, I never should have said anything. I never made an entry, just for the record. I just witnessed that person on there and moved along. Yeah, I didn't even think it would still be up. That's hilarious. Don'tdatehimdude.com.
Don't date him, man. Yeah, don't date her for sure. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, in my life, usually, I mean, we can. If you guys, is that what you want to do? Is do readings for people? I'll do whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
Not necessarily.
Well, you suggested it. I think that's kind of what you want. Come on, let's be honest here. You want to do some readings?
I wanted to see if anyone was calling in for a reading.
I don't know. I got to open the phone lines up first. I was having too much fun talking to you. Why the hell do we need them to call in? Oh, that's so terrible. I can't believe Joe said something like that.
Listener appreciation moment.
Listener, it's always a listener appreciation moment. Don't you get it? That never goes away. You can't ever stray from that or you're a terrible person. Let's see.
You're awesome. I love joking with you, Joe.
All right. So if you want to call in and get a reading, it's 1-800-588-0335. You can give me a reading. Might as well while we're waiting. We got 10 minutes.
I've got my cards right here. Okay, tell me when to stop shuffling, Senor Roop.
Stop.
Okay. Card I pulled is 2 of coins. It says that you're going through a time of indecision.
And this, of course, I'm always in an indecision.
I love it. Yeah. Okay, so the hidden insight card is the 7 of wands. So want to look at that and see this is like maybe something that's a shadow aspect or a perspective that needs to be considered that maybe is kind of hiding under a rock, right? So 7 of wands is that struggle with yourself. And one part of you is divided from the rest of you. That's how I read it. And it's like perceived like an external conflict, but it's really that you can just kind of get on your own side with some topic, some subject, some issue.
I don't know what that means. Like, go inside and fix myself? Is that what it means?
Sometimes I read it as like I'm arguing from my own limitation when I can just have what I want and just like I'm saying why I can't do that, but it's really what I want to do. And I'm like talking myself out of my true will or my true desire.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Think about.
No, it's interesting. Interesting. So I'm saying externally why I can't do something, but internally it's what I really want that's what you're saying.
Yeah, and the obstacles that are in front of you are being put there by your own mind or your own reasoning or your own, thought forms of like, I can't do this because. So it's like you can say, I really want to, quit my job and do this.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I can't quit my job because I need X, Y, and Z money. I need this, that, what I mean?
I'm doing. I
But it's
swear to God, that's so perfect because I am saying that. Like, I have a situation where I feel like I'm being forced to go to this place that I don't want to go because I have a relationship that's not working out the way I want it to. So I'm feeling like, well, I guess I got to go this way, right?
Mhm.
But I don't. It's all about money. Everything's always about money. Jesus. All right. That was sarcasm, by the way. You got any more cards you want to pull for me?
Well, the card that I pulled for the overlighting Deva card is the Empress.
Ooh, I like the Empress card.
So, I mean, you can look at it as an external thing, but I'm reading for you. So I think it's about your own internal Empress, your own feminine side, your own female energy that is wanting to sit on the throne and feel nurtured and feel like you're in charge and feel claimed.
Yes.
Like you're claiming yourself and you're being claimed at the same time. And it's all Venusian energy, like feeling that you love the surroundings, the art and beauty in your everyday, and that there's a passion there. Passion in
That's exactly
your
what I want.
environment in your life day to day.
Yeah. That's exactly what I want. I want to be in a passionate, beautiful environment with a passionate, beautiful woman doing a passionate, beautiful job. That's what I want.
So mote it be.
That's what I want. And I always feel like I'm always this close, All right, let's take one more before we got to get out of here. At least you can read for somebody else besides me. Look at 971 area code. You're on the air with Naviae Allora. Who are you speaking with?
I'm just a frail old man.
You're a frail old man?
It's Keats. How you doing?
What's up,
buddy?
Keats?
Good to see you. Good to hear you. And Naviae, big fan, long time fan, short time caller. I just wanted to say, like, you brought so much into the sphere, especially about tropical versus, something like sidereal astrology.
Yeah.
And thank God for the Fringe FM Discord. We've been having a great time kind of discussing these things.
Oh, that's cool.
And to me, like, how I love when Naviae calls it actual sky, because, we're on this floating rock or plate, depending on your views, that are rotating, you know? So the sky is always different, has always been different. It's not static like it is in tropical. So I've been, you know, kind of pulled to the tether of, you know, Naviae's understanding of it, and I've been really enjoying it. So
awesome. So, do you want a reading real quick from Naviae?
I'll take a reading.
There you go.
All right. And Keats was a recent guest on a Wandering Witch podcast. Knocked it out of the park. Such a good episode. Season 2, episode 2 with Keats Ross of Prac Magic.
We only got,
Okay, tell me. It's only on Spotify so far.
So yeah,
okay.
I'm still figuring out how to put it on the Pragmatic channel, which I will. But this next month, as you know, Naviae is insane for me. We're relocating. We're traveling a lot.
3 minutes
to teach and stuff. So, yep, here we go.
Keats, Prince of Pentacles. So there's a financial opportunity handing itself to you. Like, here you go. Here's a great opportunity to change careers or to do a new job or to make some awesome money. And
yeah,
there's 3 of Cups, which is like your community is celebrating with you. It's like friendships are waiting on the other side of this. And your social network is going to be like ripened from it.
I love it. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm flying out Saturday last minute to teach in Portland, which is like my old stomping grounds. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thanks for calling, Keats. You're awesome.
Of course. Love you guys.
Thanks for
Seriously.
calling.
Love you,
Keep
Keats.
up your good work. Talk to you soon.
It's pretty good readings
Bye.
there, Naviae. You
Yeah.
did. Not bad.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Well, we got to roll out of here. So, do you want to like plug away? By all means, make sure you plug everything before we leave.
Okay. So I have something called Linktree, linktr.ee/a wandering witch. And there you have all my links, all the portals to book a reading with me, get a Mayan session, clairvoyant reading, find my Patreon, get to the latest podcast of A Wandering Witch. It's on Spotify, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm doing live streams with a friend doing actual sky and double teaming with Mayan. And then I'm also doing a YouTube once a month show with Yogi Chander called Last Chance Moon Oracle Show, where we cover different oracles every month just for fun. And that's what's going on. Yeah. Look me up on Linktree, and awanderingwitch.com is also my website.
A Wandering Witch. Fantastic.
awanderingwitch.com.
Well, thank you again for coming on the broadcast. It was good to have you.
Thank you for having me, and hello to all the Void Walkers, and thank you for listening, everyone. It's been really fun as always. Thank you, Joe. You're awesome.
Welcome.
When are you going to come on a Wandering Witch podcast? You need to come.
Whenever. Just tell me when.
Okay.
All righty.
It's going to happen. Aloha nui.
You guys have a good night. Sweet dreams.